All right, my friends, we are doing a building grocery haul today. Super excited to fucking leave the mini cart already. So yeah, let's go. Do not get this stuff. It's actually awful. Tastes so gross. All right, so I've got my pre-gym meal here. We've got some brioche English muffins with some sugar-free jam. So I just did a massive shop. Going to go to the gym in an hour and train legs. But I wanted to show you what I got for my haul. My boyfriend won't let me eat his food anymore. He said I had to go buy my own. So I'm not going like full bulk mode, just like throwing everything out the window. Like I am still using most of the same foods I did for my mini cart. But I'm starting to add in a little bit high carb version of it. So like I'm still going to go for Spud Light just because they're super filling. These are an absolute staple. I love them. I have incredible workouts on potatoes just because I do find that you need they're not something you'd have typically if you're in a rush before your workout. Like today, for example, I've got to train in an hour. Normally potatoes to me take like 2 hours to digest because they've got more fiber. But I do love these. Like most days I will have these with ketchup. They're just incredible. And I find really, sustain you through your workout. Oh, shit. Because I'm getting bored of shit of the same old foods, I decided to spice it up a little. And we're going to fuck with gluten. This could either be great or end terribly. I haven't eaten much gluten in like 2 years just because I feel better on it. But I'm going to try it out. So I got some blueberry bagels. They're about 50 grams of carbs each. Really easy win if you're in a build phase or like if you have a trade job and you can't get many calories in easily. Like bagels are fantastic. And then I also want to try out oats because it's been a hot minute. I'm probably going to use these for breakfast or my last meal, but oats, go the macro organic, like quick oats. I don't know why, but they taste phenomenally better than the home brand. Second cereal I got, it's like a rip-off of Just Right. I really wanted Just Right, but I wanted to go with something gluten-free. So this is actually really good. They have like pumpkin seeds and cranberries. Tastes amazing. Now next up, I love to have this on hand for post-workout. We got some rice flour, aka cream of rice, but this is just the ghetto version. It's literally the same fucking thing, except on bodybuilding websites, they'll jack up the price 20 times the amount. Rice flour is the same thing as cream of rice. Ruby, if you're watching this, oats are not better than cream of rice. And this is what I cook with most of the time and drizzle on my meals. This is coconut oil that's really high in MCTs. This shit, like I find if I put it on my meals, I don't really get cravings, and I also like it for cognitive function. Like it's quite tricky to convert into body fat MCTs, but really like it for cognitive function. Put on my meals and I don't get cravings, but this is definitely something I like to use, whether in a build or just a regular phase. All right, so my absolute favorite veg. If you don't like this, you're weird. Pickles. Because what Matilda grocery haul is complete without pickles? Pickles are the shit. So Manuka honey, if I'm already balling out on sugar, I may as well get something that's actually good for me. So I like to have this on my carbs, might have it on oats, cereal. It's just a really great, easy win in a build. Manuka honey, it's got some antibacterial properties as well. And of course, we got some mackerel. It's just because I really like the omega-3 profile. I do add 20 grams of sriracha and it actually makes it taste so good. If you could also have it in a sandwich with like mayo, and it literally tastes exactly like tuna, but really good for you. I don't love this brand. I would go a higher quality brand, but yeah. I'm also switching out. I'm going to move to eggs as well. So on my training days, I'm going to have this. On my rest days, I'm going to have eggs. But the only brand I like is Mornington Peninsula Jumbo. They taste fucking amazing. I actually want to get some chickens in the backyard, but we can't yet because we're in a fucking rental. But yeah, mackerel, amazing. Honestly, most of my clients are like, I'm not eating that. And I'm like, that is fair enough. The smell, I've actually been shocking at eating fruit lately. So chucking in this. I really like the taste of these and they actually go so well in oats. So we got some ruby fruit blend. Also, the darker fruits are richer in melatonin. So I'm going to have this in the evening. I'm Got a kilo of berries because I always eat Jacobs. I remember after lockdown, the price of berries shot up by like double. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I can literally barely afford toilet paper. For protein lately, I've been fucking around with Bassa fillet chicken breast, and then I just bought these as well. We're going back to kangaroo. I'm like literally so fucking ADHD with food. It's weird. They're so easy to track. One patty is equivalent to 10 grams of protein, and they pretty much have like 2 grams of fat, 19 protein for one patty. And you add ketchup, mustard, so good. You can also have if you're cutting, I'd probably have like a burger bowl where you get these or beef mince. Beef mince is probably a bit better taste-wise. Anything that has fat is going to taste better. You add some pickles, cucumber, mustard, ketchup, low sugar ketchup, and then Praise low sugar French dressing, and you have a burger bowl. You probably add some red onion as well and tomato. I used to have that every single day when I was cutting. Super filling in the evening. Makes you feel like you're eating a burger, but without all the carbs. And I got some bougie salt today. So these are salt flakes. I just really like salt flakes, so I can do this. I'm actually really excited for legs today. I did decide to take an extra rest day just because I feel like I wasn't recovering. Well, yeah, super excited to go in. Like if you are still sore for the muscle group you're about to train, in that muscle group, you may as well take this session off. You are always going to gain that extra day of recovery that'll allow you to progress further towards your goal. Like basically, you don't grow in the gym. I'm sure you know that. We grow outside of the gym, but if you're still training that muscle group, like if you're going to train quads and you're still sore in your quads, there's kind of no point in doing that session because if you're really sore, you're not going to be getting stronger. If you're not getting stronger, you are not progressing. You will simply just kind of stay the same or regress. So you're always going to gain an extra day of recovery that's going to allow you to be stronger for that session as opposed to hitting it when you're still sore. So like I used to be really bad with this, is like not listening to my body and thinking like, fuck, if I miss a workout, I'm going to lose a bunch of gains. But it's actually the opposite. Like if you're still sore when you go to train that muscle group, you aren't going to be making gains. You're not going to be getting stronger, right? If you're not getting stronger, you're not growing. So listen to your body, but it's a different story if you're just like being a pussy, like, okay, I could train and I'm not sore, but I just don't feel like it, you know? But yeah, I've got some honey beehive protein here. I normally have like steak or some kind of meat before training, but I'm in a bit of a rush today. So I'm just having some isolate. You gotta be really on top of your protein. Like if you seriously want your results, you have to be super anal about getting your protein in and spacing it out and not skipping meals. I've done some very questionable things in my days to get in my protein, including eating sardines on an airplane in the bathroom and mixing protein in coffee cups at the airport with water. Like, you got to be serious about that shit. You can't just train. You can train all you want in the gym, but if you're not meeting your protein, like, you're not going to grow. So I would aim for at least, I like to ebb on the higher side. Like, personally, I believe there's no disadvantage to going higher with protein, right? Unless you're a normie that doesn't really train. So even if I were like a beginner, I would still go like 2 grams per kilo, 2.2. I would go 2.2 grams per kilo. If you're in a deficit, bear in mind, you are going to need higher protein because your body is breaking down muscle tissue for energy, right? So in a calorie deficit, you almost always need to increase your protein, right? I would go, beginners, intermediates, probably beginner end, I would go 2.2 to 2.5 grams per kilo. Intermediate, I would go 2.5 to maybe 2.7. And then advanced, I would go 2.7 to even up to 4 grams per kilo. I know it sounds like a lot, but there's really no disadvantage to having higher protein unless you have kidney issues, which in that case, I'm not giving any advice, like speak to your fucking doctor. But yeah, most people that don't have renal issues, like you are absolutely fine to have high protein. It's going to help with satiety, so it's going to keep you fuller. It's got a 30% thermic effect compared to other macronutrients, so which means if you overeat on calories that are from protein, 30% of those calories will be burned in the process of actually trying to store it as body fat, if that makes sense. Not fats, not carbs, nothing else has that benefit. So that's why protein's a really cool leverage. Like it's going to keep you fuller, and from snacking, you see Karens and stuff and they put on a bunch of fat because they're just eating, sugary things throughout the day with no protein paired with it. Like you're always going to get those blood sugar spikes, but pairing protein with each meal, that is going to help to really blunt those insulin spikes and get less cravings. Anyways. So this past week, I've dealt with my fair share of ADHD overwhelm issues. A lot of people say they have ADHD, but I'm like, do you? Or is it just your scrolling? Because a lot of the things you say lead me to not thinking that. Pretty much every day I can describe as just waking up and putting out fires. But what I've found really helps to help manage it, I guess. Like you can't ever fix it, but there are a few things. So what really helps me to manage my ADHD is to have a clean environment. Nothing makes it worse. Already feeling overwhelmed on a daily basis by like everything, but what I found really helps to improve it is cleaning your space. It's funny because I get overwhelmed that my space isn't clear, but I get overwhelmed by 100 different tasks to do. So probably the biggest thing, actually, no, I'll start from the top. The biggest thing is gymming. If you can go to the gym, like the only way I can describe it is my brain, it's like this painting of like computer tabs, like 100 computer tabs open with like squiggly mess all over it. Like it's just a painting of like squiggles and computer tabs, right? When I finish training, it's literally just like one like clean box. Like that's how my brain feels before versus after training. Training is one of the best things you can do, like to just to diffuse and to decompress if you've got ADHD and just get very overwhelmed. So yeah, exercise, training, lifting heavy ass weights, obviously caffeine, but I'm not going to suggest that as the main one. The second thing, like cognitively wise, I like to save my carbohydrates until I'm actually training. But in the morning, like what you want to do is you want to time block most of your important work and do that when you have primarily just proteins and fats. So what I find is from 6 a.m. when I eat up until 11 a.m. when I train, I won't fast because obviously my goal is bodybuilding, but I will have like mackerel or eggs. There are some supplements I find that really help as well because I pretty much used to be addicted to my ADHD meds, but when you're on them, you feel like a motionless robot, like ready to destroy anything. Let's get shit done. But when you're off it, I find you just want to lie in bed and watch Netflix and like eat like crap, and you almost like pay for that next. You basically pay double or triple for that time you're all amped up by being very ineffective the days after. So now I just go al natural and raw dog life, which isn't doing well, but now in terms of supplements, there are definitely a few. My favorite for ADHD that's like natural and stim free is Alpha GPC. You can get this off Amazon. Alpha GPC, green tea. I've tried quite a few nootropics. Obviously, caffeine is a great one. I do find like I get very good cognitive function by just having like a bulletproof coffee and then eating nothing for like a few hours. But like honestly, I would be carnivore probably or like keto if I wasn't a bodybuilder just because the cognitive function is amazing. But obviously, it's not great for building muscle or training. All right, so first we're diving into a machine squat. I've done my load set and now I'm doing my backup set. I just didn't want to fuck around with the camera. I didn't want any distraction for my heavier set. But now I'm going to take a little rest and then jump straight into my back off, which is a high rep range. We actually you and me haven't gone through this together, so I'm excited. So I've just elevated my feet with a few blocks, if you can see, to make it more quad focused, like to get a bit more depth. So that's a tip. If you can't change the machine, you can always like heighten the ground to create more depth on some of them. I went to go rack it and it didn't rack properly. And then I kept going down. I was like, fuck, I'm going to die like this. This is how I'm going to die. I wanted to give up on rep 10. But this is like, you've got more. And it's really hard to keep going. For most people that don't understand why we need to go to failure, they'll just stop when it starts to get hard. But if you take all of the time you spend in the gym in a year, I'm not great at math, but let's say 4 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, let's say about 208 hours a year in the gym. Of that, what are the reps and the sessions that you're actually doing that are moving you towards your goal? Are there, because I can guarantee most of them probably aren't ones that are going to change your physique. Now imagine if you took the mentality of going to the absolute depths of your psyche on every set and then prioritizing your recovery. How many more gains would you make in that year versus the mediocre training that you're currently doing? Have a think about that. Because it took me 10 years of making no progress to finally understand the importance of training with intensity, intention, and prioritizing your recovery. Definitely not as much as I had hoped to go up in. I think I just need to add them in more frequently. But yeah, they've definitely plateaued a bit. But it happens. Also, there is a chance that if your lifts aren't going up, maybe you're not including that exercise frequently enough, or you're including it too frequently to the point of where you're actually not able to progress. So maybe look at that. For me, I was able to bring my adductors up really fast in strength when I had them in about twice a week. But now they've gone down to just once a week. The strength has really plateaued. So, okay, moving on to a rec fem bias leg extension. I have to think about that one for a sec. So I'm actually tourniqueting a pad to the mat, to the thing. I'm sure you've seen this before, but I love it. And once you do this, you will never go back to a normal leg extension. So yeah, let's go. I'm a bit nervous for this. I had to take my knee sleeves off because my legs were fucking going purple. If I'm being honest, starting a YouTube channel is definitely one of the scariest fucking things I've ever done. And I still worry on a day-to-day basis what, people, my family are going to think, what friends are going to say, blah, 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 blah. But at some point, why would you want a mediocre life? Like, if you can help people, why would you not? Like, if you've got a passion, why not share it, That's what you're born to do. And I've been making home videos ever since I was like 10. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do it. And if people don't like it, who cares? I literally just put on some tan because I felt like an albino. All right, so with the rec fem bias, we're basically sitting back as far as we can. And you want this all the way down. So if you've got it all the way down to here.
What I was saying before my mic cut out was that
If you have got it set all the way down, you are going to get a greater stretch in your quad, which is going to get a better stimulus for it. Now, looking back, my technique was definitely a bit clunky, but I would definitely lighten the weight and tuck my pelvis under and shoot my knees forward for that stretch in the rec fem. Alright, so after literally tearing my quads off the bone, I moved into a Bulgarian split squat, but with this variation, it is more of a quad bias version than the typical glute bias version you've seen me doing. So with these, I'm really trying to tuck my hips underneath and stay upright with a lot of knee flexion instead of hip hinging forward. And that is going to get the greatest stretch in your quad. And we're mainly trying to focus on the back leg and getting a nice deep stretch in the rec fem, which is one of our hip flexors. And honestly, my strength was shit today. I really wasn't having it. I think I was absolutely tanked from the first set of squats. But sometimes that can happen if you have a massive PB on one of your first sets. It can tend to bring down another set towards the end, which I guess it just wasn't my day. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to me talk shit. And remember to train hard.